Alrighty, so what I want to do in this video is block out the kind of an example test level that we're going to be using. So I'm going to duplicate this level, make a simple box that's kind of like technically a little room, and we're going to have the ability to escape that room. So that way we can kind of come up with our own puzzles, compare it to real world escape rooms and that sort of thing, and get some ideas. So I'm going to find our example map, Control W to duplicate, and give it a name of test escape room. I'm going to move that to the content and open it up. So I'm going to go ahead and delete all these miscellaneous objects, and I'm going to keep these walls, but I want to bring them in a good bit and just try to kind of scale them. So make them relatively thin. That is too thin. Smaller amounts. So that's going to be my wall. How thin are you? Go slightly wider. There we go. All right. Now let's alter the scale this direction and in height. And we are going to duplicate. I wonder if I can duplicate the both. Rotate 180. Back there. And put into this corner, and we should be pretty well lined up. There we go. Okay, so we have our item here. We can delete that. And here's our basic room. So I'm just going to add a ceiling real quick. So duplicate that guy. Until we are in line, and we pretty much are in line. Okay, so we have our dark room. Now I want to make it so, let's see, this is a key. Referencing the key with the door. I'll delete the key. And I'll also delete the wait trigger. So we just have the door for the time being. So we're going to have it set up so we can get through or escape the room through this door here that we're going to put in this wall. So we have to shrink the wall up like so. Place the door. I'm going to switch to unlit. Alright, that does not help much visually. A little bit. I don't care that there's going to be some bleed through. Duplicate the wall again. And scale it back some. And then just duplicate one more time for the top. And there we go. So we have our kind of escape room. So now we should be able to walk up, press F to open the door, and leave. While having collision everywhere else. Yep, can't leave anywhere else. So we just got to come up with some puzzles that will ultimately lead to us being able to escape through this door. I'm going to close this gap up just a tiny bit. Go to 1. And I'd say that's pretty good. Actually, one more. That should close it off. There we go. And we just got to scale up 1 or 2, and it'll close up that gap. Okay. So we have our basic room. We have our end goal, which is to escape the room. And we need to come up with some puzzles. So I'm going to delete this and that. They're not needed. And we are also going to actually need some light in here. So if I go ahead and build the lighting real quick, you can see, as right now we can kind of see around just fine. But once lighting is built, you will see it get very dark, just like so. So we're going to go into the unlit view, which doesn't help all that much. We're going to grab some lights. We'll grab we'll do a spotlight. Back to lit. Place it somewhere up on the ceiling, so about there. Want to place 4, so roughly 1 in each corner, which that one is relatively close to. Band out the inner cone radius and outer a bit. They have a wide range. You can actually drop the outer. Something like that. And crank up the intensity. 55. Duplicate you. And I don't know if it'll have problems because they are kind of overlapping. But we'll see. And you. So let's build lighting again. And kind of see roughly what the difference is. Yeah, so we have some issues due to the lights overlapping. So as you can see, this one has the red X on it. But at least the room is visible. So we can probably, I'll get rid of this guy. Move you over. And let's try one light instead. So I'll tinker around with it for a bit and find out what is actually decently visible. So I'll be right back. Alrighty, so the only thing I ended up doing was switching over to one spotlight. Again, intensity 100, stationary, tension radius 1000, inner cone angle and outer cone angle maxed out to 80, cranked up source radius to 500 in that area, and bump up the indirect lighting intensity to 5. Then went ahead and baked, and it allows us to, just for the time being, be able to walk around and actually see kind of what we're doing. So now that we have that, let's try to think about some things that we are going to try to do. So obviously we have a door, which means we're going to have kind of just a final key to really open the door. And that can either be a key, or whenever we finish up our examining, that could be, the code to a code lock, which is something I plan on creating as well. But for the time being, we're just gonna work on with a key. So here we have our item here. Let's see. Actually, where do we have the key? Blueprints. Okay. So we have it there. So let's see. We're gonna grab a simple cube, and this is gonna be kind of like our drawer, because I want to make a drawer probably in the next few videos. This is gonna be a drawer that's gonna have a key in it. We got to figure out a way to unlock the drawer as well through a puzzle, because obviously just finding simple keys is not going to be very interesting. But we can also open it via the wait trigger as well. So if we load that up, I think I ended up setting that up for wait or not. I have to actually double check. But we might try to figure out just some random, kind of plate that might be on the floor that we can use the wait trigger to open this by. So I'm going to drag this over here, scale it way down. I can still be height-wise, it'll be fine. But on the X and Y, let's bring this in. It'll just be kind of right here in this corner. So as we walk into it, we want it to trigger the drawer that's going to be over here. We'll have that. And for the mesh, we can actually I'll leave it there so we know visually where it's at. And that's going to be our kind of basics for now. So we have to figure out a way to open this drawer, which is going to contain a key. So we're going to have to create a drawer system. And once we obtain the key, we will then be able to unlock this door. So now that we have a key in the world, for the linked key, let's just select it. So we have to actually pick up the key. So walk over, pick up the key, then we can open the door, because otherwise, if you recall, we cannot. All right, then we're going to have this. We want it to be linked to the drawer here. So as you can see, we have linked doors. I'm going to end up setting this up so it can be linked to a drawer as well. Let's see. So for right now, for testing, because I don't remember, I'm going to set this actually to the door. And then set it up so wait is what controls the door fully opening or closing. And last thing I want to do actually is I want to rotate this by 180 degrees. Because I want it to just be opening outward instead of inward. Like so. There we go. Okay. So that's what we need. So let's open up the to-do. So we need a drawer. I think that's how you spell it. And I don't remember if we did the weight, so let's do trigger box via weight to open drawer. Let me just separate these. And key attached to drawer or pickup. So that'll be our goal there. So the next few videos, I want to try to set this up. And that should add a good bit to the game there alone. And then after that, we might try to work on like a keypad or something like that. And in order to have a keypad be usable, well, for clues anyways, we were going to have something along the lines of being able to examine items. So when we pick up and examining like an item that we can examine, like this gigantic cube, for example, let me shrink that up. We want to be able to zoom in, zoom out like normal, which we can already do, but I also want to make it so when we press something like R, for example, we can rotate it around an axis. And the other annoying thing is we have, as you can see, a lot of camera sway, and that's due to the animation that plays by default. As you can, actually, let me go to the animation blueprint. As you can see here, so all this shaking and stuff like that in the head, that is getting that translation and all the rotation is going to get pushed into the item that we are holding. So eventually we'll try to figure out some sort of smoothing to compensate for that, but I'm not entirely sure how I want to go about doing this yet. Anyhow, that is going to be it for this video. If you like what I'm doing and want to help support me, you can find a link to my Patreon down in the description below, where I have a team deathmatch series just for Patrons using Unreal Engine C++, create a couple different features like weapon customization, fancy spawning like Call of Duty style and all that kind of stuff. And same thing goes for you get early access to my videos, like Patrons got to see this first. If you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to join my Discord down below and I will help you out. So I'll see you in the next video.